So welcome everybody. My name is Susanne Speicher. I belong to the project team of SAP Cloud ALM for Service. And today it's my pleasure to present to you SAP Cloud ALM for Service. And this is, the next generation service delivery platform that we offer. I will start with an introduction, of course, and explain to you how to use SAP Cloud ALM for Service. Then I will present and use our public demo tenant to demo this system to you. I will then navigate to you to further information and give an outlook on future plans. Good. So what is SAP Cloud ALM for Service? Well, there was a keynote, or we were part of a keynote on Tuesday. That was the last slot. Today is our first session. It's Friday, but we are the third pillar of Cloud ALM for Service. So be honest, hands up, who knows Cloud ALM for Service? Very good. Okay. Good. Then at least some of you. So if there's one takeaway from this slide, from this session, then it should be it's all about collaboration. This is about collaboration between SAP's service delivery teams and our customers. But let me first elaborate a bit on this term service so that we are all on the same page and have the same understanding, because, well, maybe I have a different understanding from what you have. So you all know SAP comes with support contracts, so like an insurance. So if customers have an issue, we support them. With services, we can become a bit more proactive. Of course, we can deliver services when there's a troublesome situation, but we can do it before an issue happens. So on a regular basis, you can order services or get services that everything is fine on your system landscape, or you get notified to take action. With services, you benefit from SAP's expertise on potential risk, potential issues, optimization capabilities that you have when you operate your system landscape. Services come with different engagements or contracts, like the basic one, enterprise support, also with active attention, max attention, and for cloud solutions with our SAP Preferred Success. What can they do? Well, checking your system landscape, your operational procedures, optimizing a specific transaction, or your data volume management. And there are various services of all shapes and sizes, like simple remote services when one SAP employee logs onto your system, analyzes on a certain topic, gives recommendations, or we have real big services, on-site deliveries where a team from SAP comes physically on site. There are automated services, or also services that span over weeks. Let's come back to the slide and this, urgent need for collaboration or better collaboration. Well, our customers often struggle to stay on top of their service deliveries. So what kind of services are delivered? What was delivered last week, last month? Have I provided everything for next week's delivery? So did I implement the node I was asked to implement upfront? And when the services have been delivered, then even afterwards, it's more complicated how to track the outcome. So which issues were identified? What kind of recommendations do I have to follow? Who do I need to notify to follow up a certain recommendation? Have I already done that, or do I need more information? Good. So with SAP Cloud ALM for Service, we provide no less than a platform, a solution to stay on top of your service deliveries. When we designed this solution, collaboration and transparency were the key factors. And yeah, thus this reinventing the SAP service delivery experience is not just a promise. Good. Why do we change the way we conduct our services? Having discussed some of our customers' pain points here already, well, you already now know half of the story. But there's more to it. So what else? We introduce a cloud-based solution for service delivery. That means SAP operates, SAP maintains it, and well, for customers, it will reduce total cost of ownership, of course, and effort. Then it comes, as you can read down here, embedded with our contract or engagements, even with enterprise support, makes attention active attention. So it's free for customers to use at no additional cost, now or later.
Just a question is, the people with runs for SAP are covered in enterprise support?
Yeah.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Services are delivered via this. Okay. Good. So SAP Cloud ALM for Service promotes a simplified end-to-end service delivery experience where everything, so from technical service prerequisites to task assignments, issues, recommendations, service results are all accessible from one local, central location. So, yeah, thus increasing efficiency, of course, is self-explanatory. We'll come to that in a second. And then, yeah, we now provide our service outcomes standardized and digitized. We'll look into that in a second. Good. So what changes? There are three main applications within this platform: the Service Delivery Center, Service Results, and Issues and Actions Management. Service Delivery Center is the central access point where all the information is stored. So it gives a joint view on all your service deliveries and streamlines the collaboration for all involved parties end to end. Transparency is gained by, reviewing service deliveries, the past, the current, and the future, so the scheduled services. You have this joint view on this. Service Results provides an easy access to the analysis that is done during service delivery on the outcome. And this new digitized format allows you to highlight focus topic depending on who accesses the results and what this person needs to know. And then lastly, and to me this is kind of breaking news, we provide with Issues and Action Management the outcome of a service as actionable items, that last longer than this service delivery. So you have single actionable items that you can assign to the right employee and then monitor progress and status. Good. Then, how does this work? So, based on the cloud architecture, real-time collaboration is possible during the end-to-end service delivery process. And in the keynote, it was already revealed that we do have a secret SAP internal Cloud ALM tenant. And it is here where the actual service delivery takes place. So it is here on our internal Cloud ALM tenant that we store our findings and create our deliverables. This internal Cloud ALM tenant that we use has some additional features and is integrated with some other internal systems. But other than that, those applications, Service Delivery Center, Service Results, Issues and Actions Management, they are the same. And they give, at our side and at the customer side, they give a joint view on the service deliveries. The service reports are digitized and the same, and also these actionable items are there. Once we have, done our service delivery on our internal tenant, we release everything and publish it to the customer tenant. And whatever you then on customer side update, statuses, you progress the actionable items, is exchanged back, transferred back to us. Good. Then next section, how to actually use SAP Cloud ALM for service. Let's become a bit more concrete. And some of you may have seen this slide in the keynote already. Well, let me go a bit into the detail. If you do not have a Cloud ALM tenant yet, then you take the decision to go for it, of course, and then you have to commission it. You create users on that tenant, a service collaboration administrator. We need a project administrator because our issues and actions management builds upon the project management part of Cloud ALM. Before this synchronization between those two tenants can happen, you have to give consent. Consent has to be given by the service collaboration administrator, and it needs to be given once per Cloud ALM tenant. And you can revoke that at any time. But as soon as you have given us the consent, then we can exchange service data and, very important, non-personal data. This is exchanged. You may ask about the effort. Well, commissioning such a tenant, 15 minutes, creating the user 2, giving consent, well, you have to read through a text and then confirm that, so 3 minutes. So it's not a big deal to do that. And then you can start using your Cloud ALM tenant. The underlined mapping here, I don't want to spend too much time on that. This was mentioned in the keynote as an example of our continuous improvement. So it was a quick reaction on feedback that customers gave. The story behind is that bigger customers can have multiple, or bigger customers may have multiple customer numbers and can also have multiple Cloud ALM tenants. And then they needed this mapping so that they can specify to what Cloud ALM tenant the service data of a specific customer number is to be replicated to. Yeah, this is the story behind this feature. And then let's look at the actual service delivery process-wise. Yeah, so process-wise, we can share service delivery into 4 steps: prepare, deliver, share, and follow up. And let's explore this from a customer perspective. So already during prepare, I as a customer can be involved. Yeah, I review what is planned, and especially I review which preparation tasks I'm asked to follow up. During delivery, I think that's easy. We exchange information. We can do that now more efficiently, having this platform. And whatever is, you can review preliminary results. Or, for example, if there's an urgent issue that requires immediate action, of course, SAP will share upfront. Yeah, then such a single issue and recommendations can be published upfront. Share, easily to understand. We share our digitized service output in form of the service results and issues and actions. And follow up is when I, as a customer, process these actionable items, these issues and recommendations. Okay, next slide is just another presentation of these steps. So the big picture on the service delivery process. Also the following slide are discussing the single steps, what can be exchanged here or what is done during the steps. But I would like to look into the system directly to better illustrate our capabilities. So, Okay, let's go to this is a public Cloud ALM tenant. I'll come to that at the end again and guide you through to it. Here I have to go to Cloud ALM for Service. I will not talk about the Service Explorer, but well, my main application, Service Delivery Center, Service Results is incorporated here, and Issues and Actions Management. So let's go to Service Delivery Center, this central access point for where all the information is located. Already here, when I scroll down, well, this is a demo tenant. The data is probably not that meaningful, but you see here are all my to-dos. Here are all my preparation tasks listed. Well, those are all overdue, but yeah, in a real customer tenant, it may look different, of course. Let's go to overview. And one further remark. I was talking about services. One service is represented in our system as a service object. Yeah, so one service delivery is one service object here that you can look at and get information and details for all these service sessions. So if you, for example, you may know the going live services, then you have an analysis session, you have a verification session after the go live. In this case, we would have two service objects here, giving, well, you don't want to wait until the verification is done, so you need your recommendations, of course, up front. Good, we just see one here that was scheduled, funny, for Sunday, but this is dependent here on the time frame, and let me make it a year, and now I can easily review all the services. As I said, KLM demo tenant, not realistic data, but in your tenant it will look differently, of course, and you will see what was delivered throughout the year, or you want to review what was delivered last month or what is delivered next month. Okay, then going into one of these services, and let me expand the sidebar menu. So you get some information on this particular service that was delivered. For example, here on the service details, you get a bit of scope information. So what was the managed system, database behind, who was, the service team, dates, some general information you get here. Then let's come to the preparation tasks. Good. In this case, here were 4 preparation tasks created. And now what I can do here on customer side, you can see that here, I can assign such a preparation task to myself, or by choosing the change, I can assign that to any of my colleagues. So for example, I want my system administrator to follow up, then I will put it on my system administrator's name and enter the email. Also, once this is processed, and maybe let me click here to get some more information. This is not a lot of information. Maybe let me choose another one. Well, also not. Well, of course, here is some more information on how to really process this preparation task, what I have to do. And down, when I scroll down, okay, again, KLM demo tenant, a lot of people change status here that will look different in a real customer tenant, but you can follow up who was assigned, who changed the status, and all that. Another cool feature is here the comments functionality. So if I have to, now it's just my user here, Agatha, this is the generic user, you can access the KLM demo tenant, so I can exchange some comments with my system administrator if not everything is clear. Good, and then, assigning to me, assigning to somebody else, and then what happens here? Let us look at the status. So open is the initial status that we will see for every preparation task once it was published to us, to the customer. And then blocked, in progress, done, and not relevant, I can set as a customer. Yeah. What I said here will be visible again in our internal SAP tenant. So in case you have problems, it's blocked, well, we can discuss, of course, what is wrong, can we help you? So that's it for preparation tasks, so prepare. Notes, I would say, can be prepared. So for example, here you see a kickoff agenda was shared with me, created, and on the internal tenant and then published to me. Okay, it does not give introduction, scope, timeline, not very sophisticated, but yeah, it's shared with me. And up front, if it's a bigger or on-site service, I could say, well, I would like to add something to it. There's an urgent topic I want to discuss. So it can already, well, it can fall under prepare. Other than that, you see here the meeting minutes that must have been an on-site service spanning over some days. So they had a daily wrap-up meeting then in the end and shared what was said there. Attachments, here we have to take care. So SAP can share documents with me, and so in this case, I probably provided the system landscape document for SAP so they can review upfront and analyze. This is not for the service outcome. Yeah, this is just in case documents really have to be exchanged between me and the customer. Let's come to share. So once the service was delivered and the outcome is shared with me, I go to service results. Good. So you see, well, a tree here. These are, well, multiple building blocks where information is in. It depends on the service that was delivered, how this really looks. Yeah, but in the end, this is the way we share information. There's a pretty cool feature, the presentation mode. It's a bit like PowerPoint presentation mode. So clicking then with the pages up and down here, yeah, it's nicer to digest. Okay, here the picture is loaded and, well, not very meaningful. Yeah, just that you have seen this. You see here issues and actions. There are, so in this case, in this service delivery, these building blocks hold the information that was analyzed. Yeah, and in issues and actions, I now have these actionable items, the outcome. It can be different. So issues and actions can be embedded in those building blocks. But in this case, we have this issues and actions summary. And I can see it here. There are 3 options to review issues and actions. So it's here in the service results. And maybe before I come to that, you see here the favorites. And this is also possible on other, you see here the favorites button. So depending on what I need to know, I mentioned that beforehand, I can set favorites. Yeah, that will be stored for my user. And when I then up here say I only want to see favorites, this is reduced and I only see those sections, those building blocks that are of interest for me. Okay, back to issues and actions. I can review them here, but also let's go back to the service object. Open the sidebar menu. You can see them here. This is the second of 3 options. And let me stay with that a bit. So issues, then either you told the customer there is an issue, the customer told SAP there's an issue, or SAP detected this issue while delivering the service. And you should not see this here. There should not be an issue without this red circle says there's a recommended action for the issue. You should not see an issue without a recommended action. Yeah, that should not happen, but as I said, kein demo tenant. Standalone actions, you see that here, are different. There is no issue. It's a general recommendation that SAP thinks you should follow. Yeah, this is the difference, but for every issue, we should have at least 1 recommended action. So when I go to this issue here, there is well, the issue description, the business impact, also there can be attachments. And you see here assignee. So I can assign someone to this issue as also a status. Same as for preparation tasks, initial status is open. Then when I process these actionable items, I can set my customer status. Let's go to the recommended actions that belong to this issue. So here I have two, and this is very interesting because I can assign different recommendations to different colleagues. So maybe one of the recommendation I need for that the system administrator, and for the other recommendation I need a business specialist, whatever. Yeah, business process specialist in this case here was given. But yeah, you can easily understand, so they get directed correctly to the right people to be processed, and then those people can also set the status. I was talking about a third option. So let's go back to the landing page. There's, with issues and actions management, there is the option to review those actionable items independent from a service delivery. Let's go there. So here on the issues and actions overview, I see a list of issues, and yeah, KM demo tenant. Most of them are from my service order, but this one, for example, here comes from another service that was delivered. Yeah, but here with this tool, I do not have to drill down in the service delivery. I see the list of all the actionable items and can walk through and monitor their progress. Okay. That's it for the presentation. Let's go back to the slide deck. And here in the slide deck, you have in the following slides details on what I was just showing in the system. Good, then let's come to the last section, Outlook and further information. Let me start with an Outlook. So currently, a special focus of our development activities is on automation. Yeah, customers are not directly affected by that, but it's about the way we deliver. Yeah, what can be automated, we want to automate, be it data-wise or process-wise, and of course this will release capacities at our end, and then indirectly, of course, customers benefit from it. We also work on capabilities, in-app capabilities to give feedback. And here I'm not talking about generic feedback on the platform as such, but rather on very specific feedback. So think of an issue or a recommended action for that issue that was of great value for you. Then of course it's of great value for us to know that, to allow us to evolve over time. Customer self-services were mentioned throughout the keynotes. It's a big topic. We hope to have that ready next year. So here, you as a customer on your Cloud ALM tenant can, it allows you to search for services that you can run then on your Cloud ALM tenant, for reactive support, but also proactively. Then the big bubble down here, or cloud down here, is the preferred success. So we are currently onboarding all services that come with the preferred success engagement to our platform, and that are a lot. So within the next half year, you will see a huge increase of service types that are delivered via our platform. Yeah, in visualization, we try to improve that, to better visualize the data that we analyze throughout service delivery. Good, then further information can be found on the support portal for Cloud ALM. Yes, being the third pillar, and of course, a part on Cloud ALM for Service. There's the expert portal you may already know with advanced information. And last but not least, there are some really valuable blogs on the SAP community on our topic. So for example, on the data transfer between the Cloud ALM customer tenant and our internal tenant. Then, last but not least, this is a link to the Cloud ALM tenant, the demo tenant. If you do not have a Cloud ALM tenant yet, I really recommend to explore the functionality a bit on this tenant, but it's always a lucky bag, yeah? You never know what to expect, yeah? Yesterday, I accessed it and everything was in Portuguese, yes? I had to find out how to switch back to English.